What is up? Welcome in, everybody. DFSarmy MLB pre-lock show Wednesday. 8-game main slate. I think both sites have the same. I really should pay attention to FanDuel, but we shouldn't have to check daily. Like, the sites should be fairly similar, but
7 on FanDuel.
Over the last few weeks, like, the sites have been drastically different, and I guess 7 would make sense since FanDuel refuses to play doubleheader games in their slates, and DK is using the Mets and Braves. So,
they did use them on the early slate.
Did they?
Yeah, they had the Braves game. Shockingly.
That's probably the originally scheduled time too. They probably went with that, but I don't know. I don't mind the sites using both games. It's annoying for optimizers and projection systems and all that because things get messed up. But DFS wise, I don't mind it. Obviously, there are doubleheader setups where you just can't use both games because of they're timing wise, right? Like, you have to be able to predict the start time for game 2. So you need those teams to decide on a split doubleheader where there's 5 or 6 hours separated the games. But I don't know. It's kind of telling you that I want to play some of that Atlanta game this evening, but it's probably not the spots that you think I'm gonna say. So even though we did lean into it yesterday because we did talk about the Sale versus Mets matchup. So, but yeah, it's a Wednesday. Tattoo, how are you doing today? Did you get any action in on the early slate?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did get some action in.
That's how I feel.
I'm pretty convinced that I can jinx any sure thing. Like, I was just like, Lord, you just gotta play Scooble or Luzardo. That's it. Nobody else even matters.
The issue with those two guys, I mean, I had 120% of them, on DK in my CSV, is they were really getting knocked around at all, and then all of a sudden they just hit a wall in the last inning for each of them, and a bunch of the runs happened at that point. I didn't see where they were at when that happened, so I don't know if they were just kind of being pushed an extra inning just to try to or what, but that's frustrating, right? Like, they look good for 5 innings or so, 6 innings, 2 balls or whatever. That, so you were super happy until all of a sudden you weren't.
Now, the odd thing is I took a nap because, like I was telling you before we went live, my internet was messed up. And I woke up and I was looking at my phone, and I have certain teams, like my favorite teams, I get alerts and stuff, everything up top kind of sits there, and I was like, does that say Baltimore 10? And I was like, hey, no. So I opened it, I was like, 10 to 9? What? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Definitely surprising. I took a nap as well, so I woke up to seeing Baltimore with 5 runs and seeing Miami with 6 runs or something like that. So yeah, it was an interesting wake up, and then obviously logging into DK and seeing that I am getting destroyed today, or was. I guess the slate's over now, but just a rough one. And then that's why we have 8 games to work with tonight, and we can win it all back and then some. Hopefully, that is.
Now, this is what's kind of funny because I was just looking at the research. I mean, the weather station, and all the early games, up to 8:40, were more like, oh, these are bad hitting situations. They're all good pitching situations. And I feel like then every game ended up being high scoring. And then tonight, it's all great hitter spots and all bad pitching spots.
Yeah, it's
but no delays or any concerns.
Right.
Like
yeah, definitely no weather issues. It does feel very top heavy pitching wise, similar to today's slate. I am not on the Brady Singer train. I basically just don't play Singer on main slates anyways. So I'm gonna live with him winning somebody the slate if it happens. Because I mean, you really have to be willing to decisions and be okay with losing the slate if somebody beats you. Singer's one of those guys. He was absolutely atrocious against Cleveland the first time he faced them this season. So I'm just going to believe in the BVP because it's super strong. And I'm also going to believe that Singer's due for some correction in his starts based on the most recent 3 starts.
Yeah.
I will say that the base runners and runs allowed have increased in each of the last 3 starts. So, you look at small trends within starts, that's something that stands out to me as well. So I'm not getting there. I just can't do it. I'll live with it. The same thought is like, but I'm also playing like Matthew Boyd, who I guess might be like the same guy as Brady Singer at this point, just left-handed. But the Cardinals' offense has begun to struggle enough. And the main guy I'm afraid of against left-handed pitching, Jordan Walker, has been ice cold since the All-Star break, which we see every year with guys that participate in the home run derby.
Yeah.
Either they have massive second halves like Soto did a couple years ago, or they just fall off a cliff. For the most part, there's obviously the studs that just keep their normal whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, it was tough writing an article today because like I'm really just playing mostly the guys that are owned the most. In fact, I'm not completely fading anybody that's of the top 8. So that part worries me, right? Is there anybody that you want to fade tonight?
Out of those top 8?
Yeah, I mean, mostly because it doesn't really say much to fade like Hayden Wesneski, who I think I might be fading. I have to dig in a little bit more, even though it's against the Angels.
I guess it's nobody I really want to fade. I mean, if my math is right here, like Davis Martin, who I love. I mean, he's always scary.
He's the toughest one for me to figure out. That's the biggest problem for me.
I'd say Christian Scott.
He is the one. My article was Christian Scott. But looking at the percentages, to be Dustin May. because of his volatility. And the Cubs have been pretty good offensively this week. So, like, maybe it should be May at 23% on DK.
I'm hoping with
The Mets was the
wins
doubleheader. What was that?
I was saying that I was hoping May might be safer with the wind blowing in, but it's not like home runs are his problem anyway.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, maybe I should have said like Chris Sale, since he's the highest
That's
owned
who
guy,
I
and
thought you were going to say.
like I'm big on the Mets tonight from an offensive standpoint. I'm kind of blown away by Chris Sale's projection, being so aggressive, but I don't know. Like, I mean, my favorite spend up at pitcher is Joe Ryan, so he's the least owned of the three. But it's just, my internet keeps kind of cutting out a little bit, but I don't know. Like, I don't really want to play anybody cheap or cheaper, like Jacob Lopez is popping on a point per dollar basis, but like, you realize how bad he's been all season long?
Yeah.
And pitching in Sacramento now, like, I just don't. Definitely not playing Grayson Rodriguez, and he's probably going to throw 5 shutout innings or something. But this pitching slate just feels super straightforward to me, and I was hoping you could tell me that I'm missing something, but it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to change my mind on it.
No, not after Martin. I'm high on Joey Cantillo.
He's been my default SB2 in hand build so far. Him over Dustin May, obviously, but so the Davis Martin conundrum, right? Like the true regression has hit him over the last month and a half or so. But also the New York Yankee lineup is kind of struggling, right? So, like, which side wins out in that scenario? And I'm not sure I know which one. If the Yankees had Bellinger and as a whole were swinging it slightly better, I think I probably wouldn't be playing Davis Martin tonight. But they just have looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, like, if you wanted to pass on Davis Martin, I don't think I'd blame you at all. Would you consider Eric Lauer against the Mariners?
I would not. After they embarrassed me last night.
Yeah, and the problem is the more I think about it, the more I think that the field's going to think that way too. And it could definitely be a spot where, like, we get an Eric Lauer start similar to what we were hoping out of Robleski last night. The problem is Lauer is going to throw 20 pitches less than Robleski normally does. Like, they're just not pushing him to 100 pitches or anything. So, like, the upside just isn't as strong. But would I be shocked if Eric Lauer is SP2 and GPP winners tonight? Probably not, because it is that same matchup that we were very interested in last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Toughest thing for me right now is figuring out what to do with Hayden Wesneski coming back from Tommy John. Should be able to throw 80 to 85 pitches. against a team that strikes out a lot. So that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't know what to do. And I feel terrible not knowing or not having a decision made. But like, I really just can't make up my mind on somebody like that.
I think he's worth. What? He's only 5%. Yeah, I think he's definitely worth. I mean, I feel like we're kind of just, almost like, all right, Cam, Chris, Joe, we'll take one of those and then one of these other guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, he is no better or worse than the, 5 guys above him.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Probably has the best matchup. I mean, Angels need to hit home runs, and he doesn't really give up home runs, if I remember.
I don't really remember what Wesneski's stats have been like in his career. Bring it up here. 2023, he gave up 20 home runs in 89 innings, so that was a big number. Yeah, I mean, he can give up, like, even last year, 6 starts before he had Tommy John, he gave up 7 home runs in 32 innings. So there are home runs that can be had against him. But do those come by right-handed bats? Because we know that the Angels just don't have a ton of left-handed hitters to worry about. And 5 of the 7 last year came by right-handed bats. 8 of the 12 the year before came right-handed. And then, when you go back to 2023 in his big home run days, it was left-handed bats that destroyed him. So I don't know. Like, there's upside in the matchup, but he's not exactly a guy that was, expected to be a big-time performer in their starting rotation anyways, coming back from Tommy John. I just don't know. I really don't. He's pretty sharp in the minors in his 5 rehab starts. I just don't know what his K numbers were like in those rehab starts. So let me try to find them.
I was gonna say, let's see.
"21 strikeouts in 20 innings. MLB career-wise, he's been almost a K per inning. Minor league career-wise, he's been more than a K per inning. So, I mean, he's fine for sure. He's not some young arm, so I think that probably helps him too in his return. Yeah. And I think the nicest thing is he hasn't seen a big jump in walks like we see a lot of guys initially when they come back from Tommy John. Just 4 of them in his 20 innings, so it's not terrible, which is 1.8 per 9. So it's not bad, but yeah, I don't. Maybe it's Wisniewski that I need to just close my eyes and go with, just because I don't feel that great about playing Davis Martin. I don't feel great about relying on Dustin May that much, so I don't know. We'll see how my percentages work out as I do it, because I'm not exactly fading some higher owned guy, so like I'm kind of tight in what I have available to sprinkle somewhere.
Yeah.
You have anything else to add about pitching? Because I don't really have a whole lot to say.
I guess just kind of general questions. Is there a world where you're rostering 2 10K pitchers, and is there a world where you're rostering 0 10K pitchers in amongst your 150, 600 lineup, whatever you're doing?
I mean, there's a chance for both of those scenarios, but I will say there's a much higher chance that I have 2 10K pitchers paired together than to have lineups without them. I have to look at how my Dodger builds come together because that's going to be the most expensive stack for me to try to make work.
Yeah.
But, since I'm so high on some of the Mets bats and Cleveland bats, like I feel like I'm going to be able to get those 2 teams stacked with 2 10K plus pitchers. Because you're stacking the Mets without Soto, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking about stacking the Mets without Bichette, so like that saves a little bit of money. Cleveland, like the only guy you're spending up for is J-Ram, and then everybody else is cheap enough, especially like Manzardo, super cheap. Quan is still pretty cheap, so yeah, it kind of depends on a team by team basis right now. But even in like the Twins, their stack is cheaper because Buxton's not in the lineup.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Right.
really, outside of Cody Clemens, everybody's pretty cheap.
Yeah. Houston becomes tougher, right? Because Pena's seen an increase in pricing, and then Jordan, who's in an elite spot. So it might be tougher to get Houston with 2 10K guys, and you might, I don't know, the DS might, give me like Joey Cantillo and Dustin May together or something in some builds. But now you're making me think and want to see what it does for all my Dodger stuff when I run it. Because I need to make sure I get Dodger stack exposure with guys at the top, right? Like if I don't get that, then I'm potentially just tonight. If one of those stud pitchers goes for 35 or something.
But yeah, that did it for my pitching questions.
We might as well take a look at some leverage stacks here. I can get it to load up. Obviously, we're missing the 2 teams from the doubleheader.
Yeah.
And that's going to matter a little bit. I don't know if I can get that fixed for us while we're on the show, but when it comes to stacking, who do you think is the top team or top 2 teams, or however you're building out your tiers, I guess?
Excuse me. I was just I took the DS and I took all the games out except for the Braves and the Mets. And if it's accurate, the Mets are all basically under 1% owned.
Okay.
And like Drake Baldwin 6%, Acuna 5%, Ozzy 3%, then Olsen and Harris 2%, Lindor is actually 2%, and then it just drops down to 1 and under 1%.
So I'm definitely going to want to see what they come up with leverage rank wise and everything, because I'm very interested in that game from an offensive standpoint. You see your White Sox at the bottom.
Yeah, they're always at the bottom.
Uh,
They're expensive too.
they're expensive, and I mean they have the most difficult matchup on the slate.
Yeah.
I mean, Schlittler is the favorite for AL Cy Young.
Yeah. So I assume they put up 20 tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under on that one. I'm more shocked the fact that the Cubs are so low on that list with how hot they've been this week.
Do you think everybody just looks at wind blowing in and that's just like they're okay, can't play Chicago?
I mean, the wind I see blowing in is all of 7 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's nothing
Um,
major.
and like over a pretty large sample size in history, like even with the wind blowing in at 7 miles an hour with the temp that they have, it's still a 5% increase in runs compared to the overall game averages in St. Louis. So, I mean, I think I just don't have a problem going there just because they've been so good recently. 24% the home run number in Minnesota, which I was not expecting to see.
A plus.
Plus 24%, yeah.
Ooh.
Plus 19% in Sacramento. Plus 7% in LA for the Dodgers. 2% in the Angels.
What does it have in Cincinnati?
Minus 3%, which is kind of weird. I'm guessing the wind doesn't really help it out, but that's the thing is like trying to understand some of these numbers. The Cincinnati weather traditionally has a game total of 9.1. So like over, because I think the game total is 8.5. So, but it also says a minus 3% compared to the ballpark average in runs scored. So
Yeah.
it's weighting a lot of these different things that makes it kind of difficult. In Chicago with the Yankees, minus 8% in home runs in that one. So these are small numbers, right? Like 8% only might drop you like 0.2 home runs. So it's just a fraction, but we can use these to try to dictate, the spots that has a chance to boom for home run
Yeah.
numbers. Like the increase in Minnesota with these conditions, they average about 3 home runs per game, where the park average is 2.4. That just means there's a better chance in that game that we see 5 or 6 home runs than in some of the other games. Really, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's really fractions of number, but it's just in the way we want to go.
It's not a gospel thing,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but fractions still can help us, especially in like tiebreaker scenarios
Yeah.
where we're trying to decide between players or teams or whatever, or even pitchers, I guess. The LA Dodgers, the number one leverage ranked team on the slate. People aren't owning them because they're expensive, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
Second best implied run total on the slate behind the Red Sox at a quarter of the ownership. The Red Sox are 4 times as owned. It makes me really want to fade that game in Sacramento, but that feels really dangerous on this particular slate.
It do.
I mean, that's 2 of the top 5 highest owned teams. Is Boston your number one team on this slate?
Probably so. I would say them, and then it would probably be Minnesota or the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are my number one team. Houston's my number two team. So, like, I have the Dodgers in Houston in tier one ahead of both Boston and Minnesota. I think my issue is I had to decide on one last tier two team between Cleveland and the Mets because obviously I'm all in on this Mets get to Chris Sale thing, which just feels like I'm gonna lose all sorts of money because of it. I went with the Mets. Like, as much as I really love Cleveland against Singer, like, I dropped them to tier 3 so that I can be heavier on the Mets. Like, is that gonna ruin my night by doing that?
I don't think so. I feel like Cleveland just, even though that, score this, score that, they don't put up fantasy points or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
huge.
Batter roll is super low.
Yeah. Like, they're not a fun 5-man stack.
They're definitely not.
I mean, there's somebody, I'm a 2-man stacker, J Ram one off.
Yeah, I do kind of wonder how much of their ownership percentage is tied up into just a couple bats, not like full stacking.
Let's see.
The one-off pool plus then mini stacks with
J Ram is 18.5, Bazana 15, DeLauder 14, Rocchio is 13, Quan 10. It moved on me. Patrick Bailey. God damn this thing.
Yeah, it keeps refreshing on me too. That's driving me nuts.
Patrick Bailey's 10, I guess, also. So.
Yeah, I mean, you might kind of think that it's probably like an 8% stack wise, or a little less, I guess.
Yeah.
That takes up, that makes up that percentages of those guys. And even 8% isn't all that extreme, I guess. I don't like. I mean, the bat I like the most out of that lineup is the third lowest projected own. Maybe I'm just because I'm convinced that the Manzardo BVP being absolutely elite. I mean, which it is, 6 for 9 with a home run and 3 doubles. But
I was looking at Boston's lineup. 7 of the batters are all above 20% owned. And then it has Connor Wong at 2 and Nick Sogard at 1.5. I'm like, oh.
That Connor Wong ownership seems super low.
Yeah.
Because it's at a position where people want to save money, i.e., why Patrick Bailey is double-digit percentage owned. So if that number stays true, like, give me a bunch of Connor Wong to be different in that ballpark.
Yeah, I was like, that's the guy you want to get in those Boston stacks because if it really pops off, you got somebody that nobody else does.
Yeah. And then at the same time, like the second highest projected own right now is Jahmai Jones, who's going to get like 2 plate appearances. I think that's what he got last night before he came out. So, there are ways to get a little different within each of these teams. As we see, like Boston, double the field on, double everybody else on the slate, but then you have their catcher who's cheap, unowned. You have Cleveland, who's the second highest owned team, and then you got like who I would argue is in the best spot on the team. Especially outside of J-Ram, I guess, because he's the best player on the team. Is the 7th highest owned bat in that lineup. So, Houston, 3rd in ownership is. It should all be. A ton of that should be Jordan, right?
Yeah.
He's not even. He's just under 20%. Jordan and Pena make up 32% of that total ownership. So, there's just a ton of like Houston mini stacks going on.
Yeah.
Minnesota at almost 90%. What do we have here? I would guess that's got to be spread out, right? Cody Cummins, 18%. Royce Lewis, 16%. Caratini, 12%. Brooks Lee, 11%. And then just a bunch of 10 and under guys. Twins aren't as mini stack heavy as that Houston ownership percentage is, but still they're up there. And why are the Dodgers not owned? Let's try to talk about their percentage here. Shohei at 14%, and then everybody else is 6.5% or lower. So Freddie Freeman, one of the hottest hitters in baseball, 3%.
Look at all their home run odds.
Right, like most of them are in green. Max Muncy plus 295 for a home run, 5% owned.
I think Edmund is the only one that's not in green.
Yeah. Dalton Rushing plus 400 to homer, 2.5% owned. Kyle Tucker 2%. It's just when you have a team as good as the Dodgers being overlooked so much, like it just makes me want to be super heavy on them. But I just don't know how that's going to work with pitcher percentages. I should run the DS at 100% Dodger stack just to see what it does for pitcher ownership numbers. In fact, let's do that while I have it up. We'll just run 100 lineups. I don't really do a whole lot of editing. I have to make some adjustments, right?
Yeah. While you're doing that, you pronounced or professed your love for the Mets. Do you have any interest in the Braves, stacking the Braves up?
I have a little bit. I'm not as high on the Braves, but it's hard to not want to play Drake Baldwin with Matt Olson or something, Michael Harris. But like, I'm just not super excited to play like Acuna. Riley's just continues to fall back off, even when it looked like he was getting hot. Now he has like a 50% K rate since his double dong game. I never get Ozzie Albies right. Like, that's my biggest issue. He's hit a handful of home runs this week, but I just can't seem to guess correctly.
When you fade him, throw some money on him to hit a home run on the sports books.
I should do that. Minus I don't have the good books here in Wisconsin.
You want to hear something crazy? My nephew put in a 3-4 leg parlay, and it was this night of the Cincinnati postponement. So one of them got voided, so they paid him out. Like he bet $20 to win 250. Ended up winning 254 after the void. Cut down the bet.
Mm-hmm.
He said he got up the next day. They paid him out. He withdrew the money. Went back the next day. They reopened the bet because the game restarted, whatever.
Oh.
And then they fucking voided it again and paid him out a second time.
Oh.
And he's like, I withdrew that shit right away and put the rest on, other bets. He's like, they can't take it back. I said, no, they're a mistake.
That's a weird situation to get into.
Yeah. I was like, I need to get on Bet Rivers more often if they're doing stupid shit like that.
Oh, man, 100% Dodger stacks really taking some time to run. Part of it is I hit browser, not server, so that's probably going to slow it down a little bit. But while I wait for that, I might as well just make a couple NFL best ball picks. But
you want to hear something? The other night I signed up for some NHL slow drafts from Underdog. And I went in first. I did slow draft. I entered one, and I was like, "Why am I doing this? Just go back and enter. Like change it to 5 or 10 or whatever. Just fucking enter them all." And I went back and did it, and I guess I didn't switch it from 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
So I woke up to all these. You've been put on autopilot. You've been put on autopilot. You've been put on autopilot. And I woke up to one open draft, and all the rest were completed. Because I got auto drafted like on all my drafts.
Yeah, that would probably upset me.
Especially in one of them I looked, and I have one defenseman. Like,
all right.
Like, I hope he has a good fucking year.
You see what the DS did for 100% Dodger stacks?
Huh.
100% Chris Sale. 80% Brady Singer. Yeah, I mean, so it's not going to give you 2 stud pitchers. And then also it's going super cheap at SP2. Now, obviously, I could have probably predicted some of this was going to happen because of the point per dollar rankings.
What if you cranked up the pitcher randomization to like 50?
Should we turn it back to server? We'll add a little bit of hitter randomization just to maybe change out. Let's see. It's not, because it's barely giving you Shohei or Freeman or Muncy. So the 3 most expensive Dodger bats, it's not really giving you. Yeah. So that's really telling you that it is kind of tough to stack Dodgers. Oh, yeah. Add some randomization, change it to server, and now we fly through lineups popping. So it's interesting exercise just to see. And there are slates where I do this for because I want to get an idea of what optimizers, not just ours, like just optimizers around the industry, are going to try to do for
Yeah.
everybody, so that I can make my own percentage adjustments from there. Look at that. You change it to 50%, and all of a sudden you have every pitcher as an option. It's still massively going with Chris Sale over Schlittler and Joe Ryan in that. Um, and it's pairing the Dodgers with Boston and Minnesota, like the two highest total teams outside of the Dodgers. So you're just
I
getting
think
all
Houston in the air. I mean, it's got the top. The top five is the top five.
right.
I mean,
Um, and it's given me one lineup out of the 100 with the Dodgers and having Jordan, who I would argue is the best bat on this slate. So yeah, I mean
what
it's
does that lineup look like?
let's take a look here. View that one. Twins mini stack with their 7 and 9 hitters. Uh, it does have Shohei and Muncy with Jordan, but it's a lineup that uses Matthew Boyd and Jacob Lopez.
Oh.
Yeah, that is something, all right. It's a very interesting slate this evening.
Yeah.
It's a funny combination. So that kind of tells you where the way things are going to go. Yeah, 25% Shohei. I mean, in general, isn't a bad percentage, but when you're going 100% Dodgers, I think you want more
Yeah.
Shohei. I guess it's 38% Shohei because he's two positions, but 38% Freeman as well. This is obviously me running it mostly raw. I like to make a lot of adjustments to point per dollar stuff, and then
Yeah.
put some mins and max other places.
Is it trying to force like stud one off, or is
Like
it just
no, I don't have that set up either. So like on this one, you have Nolan Shanwell at first, 2,800 as the one off. Jeff McNeil, 2,500. I bet you
yeah?
it's going to be cheaper one offs for
It's
most
gonna
of them.
be There's be a bunch of cheaper one offs, and half of them aren't projected to start.
Yeah. Lamont Wade, Tommy White hitting third for the A's. My boy, Tommy White, Manzardo, Connor Wong, Luis Torrens, 2,300. So, yeah, in builds that aren't rushing, it's just punting at catcher as a one off. This one had Jeremy Pena as a one off, so that's up there. Josh Bell, Gabriel Arias, Tommy White. Yeah, most of the one offs are sub
Cheap.
3K guys, or maybe to the mid 3K. So yeah, I'm gonna have some fun playing around with it, even though I only have an hour now,
Yeah.
based on where we're at. Why don't we just go position by position, kind of get out of here so we get to work?
Yeah.
It just feels like a slate where it's very top heavy. Like the starting pitcher is very straightforward. I think the offenses are kind of straightforward, which means I'm going to get destroyed.
And I want to go get some ice cream. A catcher. Really, I guess it's probably Drake Baldwin. Even though, like Jonah Heim. First base. It's actually, I was like, look, Matt Olson is actually who I like. Second base, Cody Clemens. Third, J Ram. Shortstop, probably Mookie, really. Outfield, Jaron Duran, and I mean, obviously Jordan. Michael Harris. You know, like I said, outfield, I could name a million, but there's some of my top ones.
For me at catcher, I mean it's Jonah Heim and then like Rushing or Baldwin, but obviously the way things are being built up, it's probably going to be a punt catcher. So Connor Wong / Luis Torrens. One guy that might overlooked that I think could surprise also is Francisco Alvarez. So, you know, I'm not in love with catcher, but I think there are a number of guys that make sense tonight. First base, like Wilson Contreras again, even though he has cooled off a little bit. Kyle Manzardo, I'm going to believe in that strong BVP. You want to be a little different, Sal Stewart stands out. Stewart can be played at third, obviously, too. But second base, I hate the position. Just hate it with a passion. So really, it's going to be whoever I get with my builds. That's kind of going to be my priority. Travis Bazzana, maybe. Third base, mentioned Sal Stewart can be played there. Tommy White, first or third. But Tommy White hitting third at 2,600 feels super nice. I don't really like any of the lower-owned third basemen on the slate. I guess Max Muncy is low enough owned that probably should be my favorite. Shortstop, another position I don't love on this particular slate. Hard to not just go back to Jeremy Pena or Ellie, I guess, to be different. Outfield, Jordan, been mentioned so many times. My favorite bat. A pivot away from Jordan, Pete Crow Armstrong. Success against Dustin May, and he's been pretty strong. Julio Rodriguez, definitely like him against left-handed pitching enough. Do I have anybody else? If I can get it to stop refreshing and moving up. Tyrone Taylor, my New York Mets preferred. I guess at shortstop it'd be Lindor then, right?
Yeah.
But Tyrone Taylor's been hot, has success against Chris Sale. Even Luis Robert had some success against Sale as well. So I have to mention some of the Mets, of course, which then going back to second base, have to consider Marcus Semien. Has hit Sale well and swinging it pretty good recently. Got game one off, which kind of, well, he didn't start game one. He came in late, but probably a guy that goes a bit overlooked on this slate. All right, why don't you give out some of your dongs and we can get out of here? It's already been 54 minutes of showtime, which I thought we were going to just fly through and get today's done, but I guess not.
Let's see. Cal Raleigh, Jaron Duran, Drake Baldwin, and Colson Montgomery.
Colson off of Schlittler. Look out.
Well, could be a bullpen.
That definitely could be too. That's all we got for today. Off tomorrow, back on Friday. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, you're not a DFS Army member. I updated the ticker the best possible code for you is book for 20% off. That's 20% off any DFS Army sub. Best Ball 2026 still works as well. Raz or Tattooed works, for 10% off if you really want to be cool like that. But I would go with the book. The link in the description below. You want to check out some of the merch or whatever, hit one of us up and we will get you that link. And you can get my design or prepare yourself for the NFL pre-lock show by getting us on a sweatshirt. I guess you can get us on a coffee cup too.
Yeah,
that one just doesn't sit with me because I just want stuff I can wear, not a coffee cup. But,
yeah.
Yeah. That's all we got. Hopefully you guys have some good luck tonight. Good luck tomorrow as well. Hit us up with any questions, with any screenshots. As always, helmets up, and we'll catch you Friday.
Got the best coaches in the game. We really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block. Helmet's casket is top. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision. We got too many. Tick. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just drop. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper.